Hello there, I'm Laura Kyle. Here's a look at some of the top stories here on Al Jazeera. More than 60% of registered voters are said to have taken part in Pakistan's historic election. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is claiming victory. If those predictions are correct, his party is substantially ahead. Mike Hanna has more from Islamabad on what will happen if Sharif wins.
If there's not a majority, then we get into the political bartering process. Obviously, Sharif would be looking at who would be his likely coalition partners. The PTI of Imran Khan has stated repeatedly in the campaign that it wants to be in opposition should it not gain an outright victory. What happens to the PPP leaving the government? Does it sit in opposition? Does it attempt to strike a deal? Well, all of these factors will be played out in the next few days if that absolute majority is not achieved by the Muslim League. Nawaz.
The Syrian government is being blamed for 2 car bombings in Turkey's southern Hatay province. The blasts in Reyhanli near the Syrian border killed more than 40 people. Another 140 were injured. Thousands of Syrian refugees live in the area. Andrew Simmons has more from the scene.
There was absolute pandemonium here when these 2 blasts occurred. A third blast also from a fuel tank in a car that exploded. The people here are devastated. I'm surrounded by a crowd. There has been very high emotion. People are incredibly shocked by this because this place is, they call it Little Syria. It has a very high concentration, the highest in the whole of Turkey, of refugees, also fighters, politicians and NGOs, makeshift hospitals, because it's so close to the border, only a few kilometers. And so right now, things are pretty bad indeed.
4 Filipino UN peacekeepers abducted last Tuesday have been released. The men were being held by a Syrian rebel group called the Martyrs of Yarmouk. They had been monitoring the ceasefire line between Syria and Israel when they were taken. The same group detained 21 peacekeepers in March. Voting is underway in Bulgaria's parliamentary elections. The country's 6.9 million eligible voters are choosing between candidates from 36 parties. The campaigning has been overshadowed by a series of corruption scandals. More than 250 international observers are monitoring the proceedings. You can find the latest on all those stories and much more at aljazeera.com.